Just jump into this game. Would you like to introduce our players while we jump into Whirlwind medals?
I would love to. So down in the bottom left position, we have the Red Terran player from Team Empire. Currently 1-0 up with some brilliant Hellbat drops in Game 1. It is BeastyQT. And his opponent spawning in the top left position, the Red Terran player from Clarity Gaming, currently playing over from their team house in New York. It's Shuttle.
Oh boy, this series started off in a pretty explosive manner. No pun intended. But I'm curious if we're gonna see, just because of the map, builds like Reapers pretty much out the window. Not something that you almost ever see on Whirlwind. There's no space to run around in the main to escape from a patrolling marine or anything of that sort. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if both players went for very economic openers, perhaps Command Center first. But Barracks play still remains standard. I'm not neither player really doing anything yet, actually.
No, they're making SCVs and they've each made a supply depot, which is good to see, neither going for anything too crazy as of yet, but I'd agree that I think Command Center first are probably going to be the best way to go. Shuttle did have a moment of indecision where he considered making the barracks. I saw that his SCV kind of bounced back and forth a bit, just like, shall I, shan't I, maybe, and then decided no. I'm not going to build that. I'm just going to go straight for their command center first. BeastyQT doing exactly the same thing. These two build their command center within half a second of each other. Very closely done. And this just means that we should be getting into a slightly longer game than, obviously, one base Hellbat drops.
Yeah, Maddles, it looks like we're going to have two base Hellbat drops. I honestly would not be surprised if BeastyQT went for a quick transition into that. You know, he's been playing around the scene for quite a while. I've actually had the pleasure of being coached by him as well, and he's all about trying to find the weak points. You know, it's like almost like a lion, basically just waiting to leap at a jugular. And I'm curious, he's not throwing down a second barracks yet, BeastyQT, which is slightly interesting. We do see the second barracks out of a Shuttle again, so he is going to be going for, once again, a bio opener. But the fact that BeastyQT hasn't taken any gas and only has one barracks, it can only mean he's going to go for something like a very fast third command center, which, technically speaking, is kind of a good response to a command center first from your opponent.
It is, and of course, if you don't go for a 2-base Hellbat play, you can always go for a 3-base Hellbat play, can't you?
Yeah, yeah, that's always an option. We've seen Flash do all sorts of manner of that. You could Hellbat drop on any number of bases, and it'll still, all you need to do is get it in that mineral line, and it's all over from there.
Any minute, any time, just Hellbat drops. If confused, just Hellbat drop. It's fine. It's the standard. It's something you can always fall back on. You know, you've got that nice little set. Ooh, wow. This is really good. That is. This is where things get a bit funky.
This is, you know what, I was hoping this would be a good series, and the fact that this is happening right now is going to make this a great series. So Shuttle's going to come in here, and he's going to see, you've got one barracks, two gas geysers just starting. Okay, there's got to be a third CC somewhere. He's looking for it. Now, of all the places you would check, I do not think that your third base would be where you would anticipate this. And, you know, if BeastyQT can get away with this for a long enough period of time, he could theoretically mine out Shuttle's third base, or at least take about half the resources away before Shuttle even realizes it. And he does have a good number of Marines on the field to go for a little bit of pressure. I feel like BeastyQT should get a bunker if you're going to be this greedy. But yeah, he does have the bunker queued up now. He just needs to be careful that the thing finishes before Shuttle's Marines arrive, or he may have to pull SCVs to hold this pressure.
Yeah, those Marines are starting their trip forward. The thing is, though, Shuttle, I think you're really right. He's not going to look there for that hidden command center, but he's going to know that something is a little bit up. There just wasn't enough there. Knows that there should be a third command center down somewhere. And, well, in comes these Marines. The bunker is not going to be done in time. That SCV probably going to get focused down very quickly. There we go. Is taken out. Meanwhile, it's now 3 Marines against a lot more. SCVs are being forced to pull, but Shuttle is getting a couple of worker kills here. It is always good to get a couple of worker kills. We can see that the bunker still will not go down, but it does get shut down. Was that worthwhile? Well, Shuttle, he managed to get 4 workers dead there. That's giving him a 3 worker lead at the moment, but the mules are getting called down towards BeastyQT's third at Shuttle's third base location.
Yeah, and you know, he did kill off a couple of those SCVs, but I feel like that's kind of like an assumed risk. It's like a sunk cost. He's kind of saying, well, I'm going to do this greedy play, and Shuttle may punish me in some way or another, but I can sort of mitigate this if I get away with my greed. And you know what? We were talking about before, It does look like we're going to have 3 base Hellbat drops, Mattles. Armory and Starport on the way for BeastyQT.
Well, we said it earlier, there's never a bad time to go for Hellbat drops. And that is clearly what BeastyQT is a firm believer of as well. Shuttle, he does have his third orbital command now finished up, but it is in his main base. He's still unaware that BeastyQT has decided to come and expand over to his side of the map so early on. We've got Stim getting researched once again. So Shuttle's going to have a very similar army composition to try and deal with this, but the big difference are these 2 missile charges coming down right at the edge of his main base. He's covering this entire ledge to make sure that any medevacs that try and come in will take a huge amount of damage, trying to deter that. And I think that's a really smart move as well by Shuttle, because if you lose game 1 because of Hellbat drops, you better make damn sure that you're not going to lose to Hellbat drops game 2.
Yeah, and on a map like this, there's so much space to move around with the drops. You know what, though? I'm going to say this many missile turrets this early on is a very large investment that's going to delay the tech. It's going to delay the infrastructure. We have a single engineering bay, only 3 racks right now at the 8-minute mark. He's got saturation on his main and natural. It's a lot of resources to invest building this many missile turrets. He's pretty much got, what, like 4 of them now? That's 400 resources. And I gotta say, though, watching these mules drop, Beasty's gonna take the gas at that proxy base. He is gonna just drink up every resource here that he can.
And can you blame him? It's brilliant, because now when BeastyQT does actually go and try and take this base, he's going to suddenly realize, ooh, it's already really mined out. And that's if he discovers it. While it's not discovered, it's going to be doing more and more damage. You can see the medevac is on its way across the map, though. He's going to run into this missile turret, though, so he's going to have to be very cautious. May boost forward, may fall back. He's going to take a considerable amount of fire and does get taken out. 1 medevac drops out just in time, but that's going to be cleaned up exceptionally easily by these Marauders and Marines.
Yeah, good catch there from Shuttle. I feel like if BeastyQT had hung a little bit farther to the left, and, you know, it's just a bit of, you know, sometimes you just get distracted. He was macroing up. He's setting up a lot of stuff. I feel like he probably could have boosted over that a little bit earlier and maybe gotten into the mineral line for just a second, but some bio is moving out. BeastyQT's mind sees it, actually hits him with a shot, and Shuttle's going to take the base close to BeastyQT. In this, I feel like I mean, in TVT, knowing that your opponent's going mech, it's not terrible to expand towards them, but that big mech army is so scary. I'm surprised he's expanding towards him. It's just going to allow BeastyQT to just suck this potential 4th base, I guess, dry.
Yeah, he's just going for it, and it's still completely unbeknown. And that's the big problem, that Shuttle is going to be sitting here thinking, okay, he may have a hidden base somewhere, but this is going to affect the game if it does get onto that period of time, and that's something that BeastyQT is going to want this game to go a little bit later. He wants to be able to get up more of this mech army. He wants to get quite a sizable force. He is slightly behind in supply, and BeastyQT is going to have to be able to defend this push that's coming across. Concussive Shell, Stim, Combat Shield, and +1 all finished for Shuttle at the moment. There's also the sensor tower down. He is just being really cautious that any drops or anything that could be coming in are identified as soon as possible. 2 medevacs, though, are coming in, but they're empty. Just really baiting this forward, trying to get the units to pull back in order to defend essentially nothing, baiting over this Widow Mine, which will get a kill on one already very damaged Marine.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the medevacs were like designed to pull him back, or if they were, maybe he misrallied them, but it's kind of interesting. And the other weird thing is, Shuttle hasn't actually scouted for a 3rd base from BeastyQT, and I feel like that almost hurts BeastyQT, because if he scouted and he saw, oh my goodness, he's only on 2 bases still. What is this? He's been on 2 bases for so long. If I'm a 3rd, I must be so far ahead. Like, you know, it could kind of lure a Shuttle into a false sense of security. But Beasty's already starting to get close to mining out some of the mineral patches at that 4th, and you know, it's when it comes down to a war of attrition, which oftentimes TVT can, you get into this weird situation where it's not just about your income, it's how many resources are left on the map. And BeastyQT, like, he's literally stealing a base from Shuttle. And now it does look like Shuttle wants to get in the aggressive, but BeastyQT's had this income for so long, he's got a pretty sizable mech force right now. The biggest problem, this double drop headed into his base, but he's got 6 missile turrets there.
Yeah, missile turrets are everywhere. These 2 definitely do not want to be getting dropped this game. The scan goes off, though, for Shuttle. He sees all of those missile turrets and just like, no, I am not going in there. We see that now BeastyQT has secured his 4th base at the 3rd location while getting 2 additional command centers out front. And the big thing that's also worth noting is because all the mules have been cooled down at this 3rd up to the top right, that means that he's saved quite a lot. And I don't believe this is, well, a lot of Hellbats down here at the 3rd base of Shuttle. They're not getting that many kills. 8 workers killed in total this game by BeastyQT, but he's relanding and all the SCVs have been pulled back, Nathanius. That was a huge number. Now 17 workers have been killed this game, but look at this, over to the very top right, Shuttle has taken a hidden expansion of his own.
Yeah, I almost feel like the best way to define this game is like hashtag mind games at this point. Going to 3 base, proxy base. Oh man, yeah, he's coming in here, taking off this third base quite a bit. I guess it's the supposed third of BeastyQT, but BeastyQT's killed 17 SCVs so far this game. He's only lost about 7. The fact that Shuttle's also going for a ninja base is kind of interesting, but at this point in the game, ninja bases become slightly less valuable. I think he's more worried about getting up a 4th, which is why he's getting the ninja. But I feel like this helps Beasty more because he has not scouted this base. He's gone almost everywhere. If you look on the mini-map, everywhere on his half of the map except for that base.
Because you wouldn't think it's there. You'd just be like, he's built it somewhere. Where's it gone? It's gonna be around here. And at some moment, Shuttle's gonna come up there, and you know his face. Like, my face would just be like that sigh where you're just like, why didn't I check? Why didn't I just look here? It would have taken me 3-4 seconds, and I would have known. BeastyQT would have been in such trouble. But now, he's in a great spot. His supply is slowly creeping higher. He's got a sizable mech force out. He's got the 2-1 mech upgrades compared to 1-1 currently out, soon to be 2-2 for Shuttle's infantry. But Shuttle, with that hidden base, is looking okay. He's going to be forcing back BeastyQT's 5th, but yeah, it's still fine. BeastyQT's nearly mined out Shuttle's 4th, which he's going to try and take soon because that command center is halved up.
Yeah, I feel like that's like one of your nightmare scenarios, just playing on ladder. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna go land this command center, and then there's no minerals there, and like half the gas is gone. We do have Shuttle with a good number of forces outside of, I guess I'd call it the third base of BeastyQT. Going for a drop at this point could work out. The longer he gives him, though, we have high-sec auto-tracking finishing for BeastyQT, and I love this upgrade. Barely anybody ever gets it, but having +1 range on your missile turrets is absurdly useful when you consider how fast the drops move, especially Terran players, knowing, oh, okay, I have this much space to work on a missile turret, and then all of a sudden, you don't. And it also helps the planetary fortresses, and I feel like BeastyQT, he's behind on supply right now, sure, but mech armies just build a little bit more slowly. It's all going to come down to the big engagement, though, because as Bio, if you can win one big fight decisively against a meching player, you pretty much win the game. So he is going to start barging in here now towards this natural third base area. The planetary fortress is taking some of the hits. Is BeastyQT going to be able to hold on here? The supply actually equalizing pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, there was a lot of tanks up there, a huge number of tanks down to the left, able to knock out a huge number of Shuttle's units, and the scan did actually go off for BeastyQT. He knows that top right base is there, so that's going to be a small vulnerability. Meanwhile, we do have 2 Marauders making their way in towards the third of BeastyQT. More drop coming down here. SCV's getting pulled, trying to deal with it, and of course the tanks can't get over there to deal with it, so the Hellbats are going to have to try and go, but that means with the scan, Shuttle's tanks are able to do some nice damage here. The Hellbats finally making their way over. This is a bit of a stalemate situation, but Shuttle, he's got the map control at the moment and is now trying to land an orbital command on BeastyQT's hidden third.
And now he realizes, he's like, wait, what? The minerals are all gone? What's going on here? This command center might actually die. Well, I guess the Marines would have gotten it anyway, but BeastyQT, that ninja base was definitely worth it. There's barely anything here to be taken. At the same time, though, Shuttle has built another proxy command center in the very eastern corner.
Really nice drops here over the tank line of BeastyQT to the left, and those drops actually knocked out a huge number of the tanks there, Nathanius.
Yeah, utilizing the drops in that manner is so good, especially when the Hellbats, they're just south of the tanks. They're not actually on top of them, and you kind of need to put your Hellbats on the tanks if you want to prevent big drops like that. At the same time, BeastyQT's actually taken out the base all the way on the right. I don't see that command center there anymore. So he's kind of working away at killing Shuttles and ninja bases, but now I think this is the point where BeastyQT's supply is getting so low, he's having a really hard time dealing with this, and I'm not sure he actually has... I mean, not having his main or natural has allowed these resources to last for such a long time, but I'm not sure if Shuttle manages to secure all these expansions, I don't know how BeastyQT is going to be able to afford to continue playing this game.
No, that's the problem for him. He's just not going to be able to hold if Shuttles keeps up this aggressive drop style play. It's why BeastyQT is trying to utilize those Vikings as best as possible, just in order to deny that. He's going for some nice drops as well, which is stopping these ninja bases, but as we can see, Shuttle, he's bringing units over to go and clear those out. Yes, a couple of workers were killed, but the orbital commands are staying up. He can just mass cooldown mules. This top right base may actually die to those 2 Hellbats though, and will fall. That in itself is a bit frustrating, but luckily there are spare ones sitting around for Shuttle at the moment. Shuttle pulling back a lot of his infantry and actually giving up this position on the map and allowing BeastyQT a little more space.
Yeah, this game's reaching a really awkward point. The mech army is supposed to be more cost effective, but we can clearly see BeastyQT's lost so much more resources. He still has the Hellbat drop in the top, but the problem is, once these bases get secured, the top right bases for Shuttle, those are, it's just resources that BeastyQT cannot match as far as income goes. No matter how many mules he wants to drop, he's going to try to retake his third base area, which, you know, luckily for him has quite a few resources left at it. But I mean, at this point, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of players avoid going mech on Whirlwind, is you run into the issue where you just have so much space you need to cover, and that's what's allowing Shuttle to really get these great engagements and pull BeastyQT back and forth.
BeastyQT is trying to keep up the harassment though. Another hellbat drop coming down to one of these top right bases, but there's a decent amount of Marines and Marauders there. We'll be able to shut it down. At the same time, there's a handful of Marines and Marauders sitting to the right of BeastyQT's third, just ready to try and move in there tonight once more. A few tanks sitting up on the high ground. Huge tank line, basically covering all of the natural third and fourth base at the moment for BeastyQT. Shuttle just biding his time, not wanting to engage too soon. Shuttle currently is upgraded to 3-3 on infantry with +1 for his mech. Meanwhile, BeastyQT had 3-2 mech upgrades, and he hasn't yet started the +3 mech armor.
Yeah, and I feel like, oh, this is such a weird position to be in. BeastyQT is starting to get out some Banshees. He actually has quite a few starports, but I mean, the drops are coming in on top of these tanks at the third base, and he's just going to start chewing away. And, you know, BeastyQT cannot really afford to replace these units. The more he loses, it's that war of attrition, and there's simply more income right now for Shuttle. He has a Planetary Fortress. Hellbat drops, sure, they're good, but they're not that good. One of the Banshees actually picked off, and the Marauder's going to charge into the tank line by the fourth base. He is going to be able to pick off most of these siege tanks. The Banshee's doing work, and BeastyQT is going to try to use the Banshee to harass these ninja bases, or I guess they're just bases now that Shuttle has in the top right, but there's Marine support at the one in the very top right. I'm not so sure that BeastyQT is going to be able to get in the damage here, and while the supply is coming close, there is a lot more money in the bank for Shuttle.
Yeah, that money in the bank is the thing I've been looking at. The Banshee that was trying to do a little bit of damage has been taken out straight away. A scan, a good number of Marines there. Now missile turrets are going down at every single base. But Shuttle, he's been maxed out, or close to max for a long period of time. And his bank is massive. BeastyQT is having to spend every ounce of money that he has. Yes, he does still have this third base, which does have a decent amount of money on it. But look at Shuttle. He's just expanding everywhere at the moment. He's got so many mules to cool down. He's even knocking out some of his SCVs. I saw a couple get taken out earlier, just in order to free up more supply to get more army. He is just going to go for a big final push, and in the war of attrition, he's going to be winning it if it carries on like this.
Yeah, I completely agree. Banshee trying to harass in the top right for BeastyQT. And, you know, it's the thing where, technically speaking, if BeastyQT plays this perfectly, he can mow down several full bio armies with his mech composition. The issue is, we kind of saw he had a bit of difficulty doing that earlier on. We have a big air switch coming in from Shuttle. He's got Ravens coming out. He has... He actually has not a Corvette reactor, but we've got him going into battle cruisers. He has the weapon refit going for that Yamato gun, and well, BeastyQT's trying to harass, but Shuttle's got the entire top right half of this map to mine out.
Yeah, it comes down to that simple fact that Shuttle does have all of those additional bases, all that better income, but BeastyQT's army is quite scary. It's a lot of tanks in there, a lot of Vikings, a couple of Banshees, and all those Hellbats, and he is starting to move forward, but at the same time, Shuttle is moving in towards BeastyQT's natural base, and there's hardly anything here to defend Nathanius. He is just going straight for it, and, well, a lot is going to go down here. Simultaneously, though, we can see that BeastyQT annihilating that third base of Shuttle. There's quite a few Ravens there. Seeker missiles are starting to queue up, and if they get some good hits, it'll be really nice. At the same time, the infantry is pushing ever further forward. The natural base completely obliterated at the moment by Shuttle. This is a bit of a base race situation now, and to be honest, Shuttle's going to win it just by the sheer fact that BeastyQT has less bases and less area on the map.
Yeah, it's such a rough position to be in, especially because he just has so much infantry, and BeastyQT is just going to GG. Shuttle takes game number 2.